Suppose this is your topic. Okay. Now, first of all, greet the audience. As I had already said, you have to greet the audience, then tell your name, and then tell the name of the topic. The topic that you will be, describing, tell the name of that topic, and then move to the next slide. Okay. And in the next slide, you must include the introduction. So the first slide will be will act like a cover page, and the second slide, in the second slide, you have to basically include the introduction of the topic, and accordingly tell about the topic. Okay, so it totally depends upon what you have included in your presentation. So and depends upon the topics that you have included in your presentation, and accordingly you have to deliver your speech. So that is why yesterday I had told you, first of all, try to basically know about the duration of the presentation. For example, if your teacher gives you a presentation, gives you to deliver a presentation, so ask your teacher to about the time as well. Okay, so that you get an idea. For example, if your teacher asks you to deliver a presentation for 15 minutes, for example, the teacher gives you a basic idea of like 10 to 15 minutes, you have to deliver your presentation for 10 to 15 minutes. So accordingly, you have to add slides. You cannot add a lot of information, you also cannot add too less information. So it totally depends upon your time management skills, how you divide your time in between the slides. And you need to practice for that. After you are done with the PowerPoint presentation, to deliver the presentation, you have to read the presentation, you have to know what you have included in the presentation. Most of the time what happens is that we just copy paste it. We will just like search about the various topic on Google, and then we will just copy and paste it on the slide, and we don't have much idea regarding what is included there. So do not make that mistake. Once you have included something, you have to check it whether the information is correct or not, and then you also have to be thorough with it. You have to read it. You have to read your slides. What information you have included, you must be aware of it, so that during the presentation you can explain it. So presentation is basically you have to explain it. You cannot just read the lines. Okay, you have to explain it. For example, if suppose the topic is interview skills, okay, so now your introduction will be related to interview and interview skills, isn't it? Now what you have to do is you have to just write down a few lines on your slide, maybe 2 to 3 lines, not more than that. Okay, when you are preparing a PPT for a presentation, okay, for to deliver a presentation, you know that you have to deliver a presentation. So as I had yesterday, I had already said that you should not add too many lines in one paragraph. So you should make it short or write it in points. So even if you are writing the definition of something, you must make sure that you have not written too many things. Just make sure that you don't write more than 3 lines for one particular topic, one for one particular heading or subheading. Okay, and accordingly you have to explain. You have written it on you have written it you have written the definition of interview, and then you cannot just read out the line. You have to explain it the way we explain in a class. You have to basically explain it in front of the audience or your examiner. and your explanation should be also appropriate. So for that, to make it appropriate, to manage the time properly, to make use of the time properly, you have to practice it, so that you can divide your time properly, and so that you can utilize the given time. All right, Julius, is it clear? So basically, regarding the introduction that you had asked me, you have to start with greeting, and then your name. You need to tell your name, and then you need to tell the name of the topic, and then go to the next slide. So the first slide, as I had said, it acts as the cover page, and go to the next slide. So the next slide will basically include the introduction of the topic. Okay, whatever 2-3 lines you have written, so it will include the introduction of the topic, and accordingly you have to start your presentation. Accordingly you have to deliver the presentation. Is it clear, Julius?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so is there any other doubt regarding PowerPoint presentation? Because this is a very important topic, and I will also be giving you a task. So that is why, if you have any doubts, please let me know.
No doubt. Got clear, ma'am.
Okay. So I will move on to the next topic. So I will be explaining to you all how to write an email, and I'll also be showing you. Okay. So you have to log into your email account. You might have an account on Gmail, Yahoo, Rediff Mail. So you have to this is Gmail. So I'll be showing you how to basically write an email on Gmail. Okay. So once you log in, on the left hand side here, you're going to see compose. Okay, you have to just click on compose. If you are writing an email from your mobile phone, it's a bit different. So if you have the application, so then you can just log in to your Gmail account, and you are going to see the compose option on the right hand side. Okay. Uh, so you have to basically click there, and then you will get this, and here you will be able to write down your email. Now, as soon as you click on compose, it'll get this screen. It'll basically get this, and what you have to do is 2. You'll see the option 2. Here you have to write the email ID of the recipient, okay, of the receiver. For example, if you are sending a mail to me, you have to write down my email ID here. I will suggest you to write down the email ID of the recipient at the end. Okay? Do not write the email ID of the recipient in the beginning itself. Why? Because if you write down the recipient's mail ID in the beginning itself, and if you mistakenly click on send, okay, if you mistakenly click on send without checking your mail, without rechecking your mail, and for example, you forgot to add some certain thing that you wanted to, you won't be able to delete the mail, you won't be able to edit it again, isn't it? Once you send the mail, it will be gone. The other person will receive it. So you won't be able to stop it. You won't be able to even delete it, like the WhatsApp messages that we can delete. If we click on delete for all, then the message is deleted, isn't it? But in case of a mail, you cannot do it. So you need to make sure before sending the mail that the information that you have included is correct, and it's according to your like whatever you wanted to add. You need to make sure that you have added everything. Now I will suggest you, there's no such rule, actually, there's no such rule of writing the recipient's email ID in the beginning or at the end. But this is my suggestion, what I generally do. I do not add the recipient's email ID at the beginning. Rather, I add the recipient's email ID after I'm satisfied that yes, I have written it properly, everything is correct, I have added everything, I have added all the necessary information and data. And then what I'll do is, once I'm satisfied, I will write the recipient's email ID and then click on send. So that's why I'm suggesting you to do that, so that don't make any kind of mistake. Next is the subject. Now here you have to write the purpose of your mail. Now subject is a very important part of mail, any official circular, any application. So the subject is a very important part of it. You have to make sure that your subject is interesting, at the same time it's unique, and you need to make your subject short, concise. It should be informative. It should definitely explain the purpose of your mail or your letter, but at the same time it should be short as well. It should not be too long. You should not write a paragraph. Okay, it should be short, it should be specific, but it should be informative as well. So your subject should basically provide the recipient the particular information, so that the recipient is interested to open your mail and go through the mail. Sometimes when you do not write the subject properly, the recipient or the receiver, like, won't be interested to open it and read your mail, and the person might think that it's not an important mail, so the person would not just open it. So in order to make it informative, you have to basically show the purpose. You have to be able to show the purpose in the subject itself. So as I had already said, it should be short but informative. It's informative as in it should definitely it should definitely explain the purpose of the mail. So for example, if you are writing a leave application, so if you're writing a leave application, so what will be your subject? You can just write down it as applying for leave, or you can also write down application for leave. You can also write down request for leave. Okay, so now when the other person will receive this mail, the other person will come to know what is your content, that yes, you have written something related to your leave. So you'll be explaining regarding why, when and why do you need the leave. So now this subject is a precise one. This is a perfect subject, okay, when you want to apply for a leave. Now it depends upon the purpose, it depends upon the information, it depends upon whatever you want to share. So the subject will basically keep on changing according to the requirement, according to the information that you want to share. So after you write the subject, then you have to write down the body of the mail. Now you can start with Dear Sir. Okay, then a comma. Now if you are writing a mail to a person who is unknown to you, whom you do not know personally, okay, then you need to write down sir slash ma'am. When you do not know the other person, then you are also not aware of the gender, isn't it? So that is why you need to use both sir and ma'am. Okay, so how will you use it? You can just use a slash. Dear sir slash ma'am. All right, and then you can give a comma. Now, because you're applying for a leave, so you will be basically sending this mail to your teacher, to your dean, to your HOD, or to your boss, isn't it? So you know the gender of the person, so you don't have to write both sir and ma'am. Whatever is the gender of the person, you can just write it down accordingly. You can just write either sir or ma'am. But in case of males, especially in case of job applications, so when you're applying for a job, okay, and you're writing a mail, and most of the time you're not aware of the gender of the other person, you do not know the other person personally. So in that case, what you can do is you can just use both the words and a slash, of course. So dear sir slash ma'am. Now in the next line, I will start with my mail. So the basic way of writing an application is with due respect, I, and then you need to write your name. Okay, I suppose Ravi Sharma of BBA third semester would like to inform you that my brother is getting married next week. Next week. So I would like to request I would like to request you to grant me leave from suppose 10 11 2020 to 20, 11, 20, 20. Your kind consideration would be highly appreciated. Thank you. Yours faithfully, Ravi Sharma. Okay, so this is how you should write an application. Okay, so this is the basic format of mail. So if you are sending a mail, you have to write it in this format. And if you're writing an application on a paper, if you're using a paper to write an application, so what you have to basically do is you have to take a A4 size paper, and then you have to start with two. The first line on in the first line you have to write down two. Then in the second line you have to write down the suppose HOD, then the name of the department, Commerce and Management, then the name of the university, Assam Downtown University. After that, leave a line and then write down the subject, SUB JECT, and the subject will be this, applying for leave. Then again leave a line, then start with dear sir, and the same. The content remains the same. Okay, so even if you're writing a mail, only there's a little bit of difference in the format, because in the mail there is already a format and you have to follow that. And whenever you write a application on a paper, then you have to add certain things like the salutation and all. You have to add to the then whoever you're writing, the designation of the person, then the name of the department, and then the name of the organization. And do not forget to add the date. Okay, do not forget to add the date after you have written the name of the university, the name of the company, organization. After that, leave a line, write a date, then again leave a line, then write down the subject, again leave a line, then dear sir, then it's the same thing. You have to basically write down the same thing. Okay, now next. So this is the basic way of writing an application. I have just given a reason. Now this is for attending brother's marriage. So with due respect, I, Ravi Sharma of BBA third semester, would like to inform you that my brother is getting married next week. So I would like to request you to grant me leave from 15/11 to 20/11/2020. Your kind consideration would be highly appreciated. So these are the basic lines that we use when we write any kind of leave application. So you have to provide the duration, and then you have to also give a reason why do you want the leave. Then this is a line that is used after the first paragraph, that is your kind consideration would be highly appreciated, and then you have to write down thank you. You can also write down regards or yours faithfully. Now as student, you are supposed to use, you can definitely use yours faithfully later on when you will start working. Then instead of yours faithfully, you can also write regards. Okay, now regarding yours faithfully and yours sincerely. Okay, now you know about these two words, faithfully and sincerely. And most of the time, whenever you write applications, you must have used these two words, faithfully and sincerely, isn't it? Do you know the difference when you are supposed to use faithfully and when you are supposed to use sincerely? There's a thin difference. There's a difference in between these two words, and when you cannot use these two words for each and every letter or application. All right. Now, faithfully is related to faith, faithfully is related to trust, loyalty. So, when you know the person, okay, when you know the person personally, when you know the person, then you can write faithfully. Okay. Now, you're writing this application to your dean or your mentor. So, you know your mentor, even if you're writing to your boss, so you know your boss personally, isn't it? So in that case you can write faithfully because your boss can trust you, or your there's a good relation in between both of you, so that your boss or your teacher can trust you. So faithfully, as I had already mentioned, that it is related to loyalty, trust, faith. So that is why whenever you know the person, okay, whenever you know the person personally, you can use the word faithfully. But whenever you are writing a letter to somebody whom you do not know personally, okay, for example, a job application, if you're writing a job application, do not use the term faithfully. Instead of that, use the word sincerely to show your sincerity. Faithfully cannot be used because there's no question of trust, there's no question of loyalty, because you do not know the other person, isn't it? So that is why when you are writing a letter, any kind of application, any kind of mail to an unknown person, do not use the term faithfully. Instead of that, you can just use sincerely to show your sincerity. Okay. Faithfully can be used only when you're writing to a person you know. Okay. So that's the basic difference, when you can use faithfully and when you can use sincerely. Faithfully and sincerely, both the words can be used when you know a person, but when you do not know a person personally, then you can only use the term sincerely. Okay. So this is the basic format of the email, and then once you are satisfied that you have included all the necessary information, so then you can add the recipient's email ID, and then you can send it. Okay. Now, if this is a leave application, fine. So this is a leave application, you don't have to attach anything. But for any other kind of mail, for example, if you're sending an official mail, or if you're sending a mail to apply for a job, or where you need to attach certain files, what you have to do is, after you are done with this, when you are supposed to attach files, okay, you have to mention that please find the attachment of the following. If you are suppose attaching 2-3 documents, suppose you're applying for a job and you have attached your mark sheet, then your pass certificate, then your admit card. So how are you supposed to write? Please find the attachment of the following documents. A dash, give a dash, and then in the next line, number 1, mark sheet, number 2, admit card, number 3, pass certificate. Accordingly, you have to mention. If you are only attaching one document, one file, then you can just mention it in the line itself. Please find the attachment of the please find the attachment of the resume. So in this manner, you can basically write down your mail. And how are you supposed to attach? Here, this is the symbol where you have to click, and once you click here, you will be directed to another like drive, and then you have to basically search for your file, for the required file. So wherever you have saved the file, go to that particular destination, then just select it. Okay. And then once you're satisfied with your mail that yes, you have added everything, you have written all the necessary information, then add the email ID of the recipient and then send it. Okay. So this is the basic format of a mail. Now, a few other things that you have to take care of when you write a mail is that do not write it in block letters. Okay. Can you see? I have not written it in block letters. So you're not supposed to write a mail in block letters. The way you write in your copies, you're supposed to write it in that manner itself. So the initials will be in capital and the rest will be in small. Okay. So this is the basic way of writing. You cannot write in block letter. So most of the people, I've seen a lot of people, what they do is, because like you have to keep on pressing the caps lock for the initial letters, so that is why just to make it just for the comfort, so the people, what they do is they write everything in block letter, but that is not the way of writing a mail. You're not supposed to write in block letters, and your the body of the mail should definitely give certain details regarding your motive, but it should not be that long as well. You must try to write it in short. You must try to write it as less as possible, and do not use complex words. Try to use words which can be easily understood by the other person, and do not make any kind of mistake while writing. Try to write it correctly using proper punctuations, write correct spellings, and yes, grammar is another important part of written communication. So you have to take care of your grammar as well. So what happens is that when we communicate orally, now when we have a conversation, so then even if you make some mistakes regarding the grammar or punctuations, then it's okay, the other person won't mind, the other person might not even notice it. But in case of written communication, the other person notices everything. Okay, so that is why you have to make sure that everything that you have written is correct, grammatically correct, spelling is correct, then punctuation is the correct punctuation is used. So you have to take care of all these things, and the motive of your mail should also be properly explained, so that the other person do not have any kind of doubt regarding your mail. If necessary, regarding the documents that you're going to attach, make sure that the documents, when you save the documents, you must save it with their using their names. Okay, you must rename it. Okay, for example, if you're suppose writing a project, and if you are sending the project via mail, then what you have to do is you need to write down the name of the project. When you save the file, you have to put the name there, so that the other person is not confused. So that's all regarding email, and this is the basic way of writing. This is the basic way of writing an application as well. A few things, as I had already mentioned, you have to add a few things before the body, because this is a format that is already there. This is the format of the email. In case you're writing a letter in a paper, on a paper, then definitely you have to add few more things. Okay, so that's all regarding email. I will also be teaching you how to write down a job application. So is it clear, students? Have you understood? Is there any doubt?
Understood, ma'am.
Okay then, students, that's all for today. See you in the next class. And ma'am, when can we use yours thankfully? Generally, we use sincerely and faithfully. So thankfully is something that we don't use. You're not supposed to use thankfully. Okay, this is not like proper. You have to use regards. So you can write thanking you, not yours thankfully. Okay, as I had shown you, thank you, I have written it as thank you. So instead of thank you, you can also write it as thanking you, then thanking you, yours faithfully or yours sincerely, then your name. Okay, yours thankfully is not a term that is generally used. Okay, so do not use the term thankfully or something like that. Okay, use sincerely, faithfully, regards, and that's all. Okay, is it clear, Rikesh?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, then. Okay, students, if you have any doubts, you can definitely ask me. And Sheetal, just let me know if you have any doubts regarding PowerPoint presentation. You can give me a call, okay? Or you can also message me. So that's all for today. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have understood. If there is any kind of doubt, you can ask me in the next class. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.